Hello, you're listening to Otaku Spirit Animecast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris.
Yo.
And today is our discussional podcast episode where we'll talk about the news that seems important to us, that should be important to you because it's important to us, and then dive into our community, ask some great questions from our community members, and then say goodbye. So how's it going, Chris? How's the last week?
A little exhausting, but we'll
Is it getting better, at least? Your schedule changed? Is it at least getting better?
Well...
Or are you just replacing your work time with anime consumption?
Well, that's the hope, but I'm just picking up more hours over at the other place, so...
Kind of figured that's how it would end up turning into.
Yeah.
Just end up just passing off to something else. It's been, for me, honestly, an extremely exhausting week, and that's mainly around... We have spring coming up, wrapping things up for the current season, and there's just a lot of crazy stuff's happening. Like, this last week, I've literally gotten caught up in soul leveling drama. We have, like, literally all the anime awards coming out for the other services that aren't Crunchyroll, which is really good. And then, like, just leak crap, and it's just it's just one of those weeks that's, like, I kind of find it fun with the, like, you know, bullcrap people like to spread. At the same time, it's, like, exhausting at the same time, because it's, like, you're literally fighting an uphill battle that's never going to win because people just love clickbait. Like, for example, the soul leveling thing. I don't know if you've seen my video on it, but, like, they had episode 21 of soul leveling came out, which, you know, not to get into major spoilers here, but, like, something happened, like, that was pretty big for the main character, and he got emotional. And so it, like, turns this thing where somebody posts this article, or at least this account on Facebook posts that it is the most disliked episode of soul leveling, and which is true. Well, it's not the most disliked, because technically, like, episode 8... I think of the first season was technically like 3.6 thousand dislikes on Crunchyroll, and this one only had like 2,500. But anyways, they say it's the most disliked episode, and the main reason why that people cite is because him being emotional destroys the aura that they all think they has. So basically, him being emotional it ruined his tough guy character, and I'm like, okay, so I can prove the dislike thing, but how do you prove that that is the main reason people are upset? Okay, check comments. Check comments on Mal, check comments on all the posts being put on Twitter or X, and try to find somebody. Okay, let's just say, try to find somebody that will say that they didn't like him crying. Let's just go with that. Can't find anybody. And yet this becomes like the most trending thing. Everybody's like, my gosh, I hate being an anime fan because people like this. And people are like, what? People are upset because he cried? Literally, I'm seeing posts everywhere. It's trending. Everybody going, my gosh, the anime fandom is garbage because they're mad because he's crying. And I'm like, you guys took the bait. There literally is nobody saying that. It's just this one person making this post saying that somebody said that as the main reason why it's disliked. And everybody's blowing up with this narrative. And it's like, you guys are literally biting yourself. Everybody's just eating each other and upset and in a frenzy over something that's not even true. What I come down to with my little experiment and my investigation, because I love debunking bullcrap posts like this, rage bait, clickbait crap, I came to the conclusion that why people hated the episode was because, for some people, I'm sorry, it's just not me. I mean, I enjoyed the episode. Some people just were bored. Why? You remember there was one main thing? There was like a little bit of it in there, but do you remember one thing that's not in that entire episode? Fighting. Mm-hmm. You literally had like him going from what was the earlier months of that season? Literally, you're going from like him fighting Tusk, and in that dungeon, the barrier dungeon where they got stuck in there, you had the Red Gate before that, and you had the fight with the Demon King. Like, this is insane, like, episode after episode of insane action and crazy animation, and then what happens? Just chilling. And so, people didn't like it. And the best way that I can prove was, yes, all the comments were saying it's a filler episode, which, my gosh, can we talk about what is a filler? Can we talk about what... Can we talk about... At this point, I'm either thinking that some people think it's just a meme at this point to call things that you don't like a filler. And then there's some people that probably legitimately think because of those people that's what it is. If you don't think that something happens in an episode, which a lot happen, but there's some people that are going to think that. People think that just because nothing happens of importance to them, it's called filler. That's not what filler is, people. We don't get filler anymore. Thank goodness. Mm-hmm. Filler is pretty much not a thing anymore. I mean, you could argue Makeine's final episode was filler because it was technically anime original, but it was wrote by the actual author. So even then, that's not even falling there. Filler, typically for what we've been knowing it for a long time, is in a case where the studio wants to keep something going and there's no source material to work with, and they make this extra content that's not necessarily canon, but can be canon sometimes. That's what filler is. It's not, I was bored for the episode, so it's filler. It's in the damn manhwa. It's in the original source material.
Yeah, the most notorious we've talked about before is Bleach's Bounto arc.
Oh my gosh.
Which that one was the most obvious filler. You go and if you want to know,
and literally like what a half of Naruto was felt like filler.
But I can't name an arc and say that's filler. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those. If you want to see what filler is, if you go back, if you're have any knowledge of Bleach, go back, and I want to say it was either the 3rd season or so, somewhere around there. You'll get through a good chunk of Bleach. Then it goes into this thing where the Zanbakutos
become alive.
They were coming alive. And if you go to the manga and actually read the manga, literally this arc does not exist in any part in the manga. That's what filler is. It's where they want to keep the money train going, and so they literally they catch up to the manga. They can't go past it, so they just dump something in there so that you have the same characters. They're doing something. I like the Bounto arc, but I at least acknowledge that it's not canon, and it can't be canon.
Chris is the only one in the world that likes it.
I liked it.
Well, I mean, you could argue GT is filler for. See, that's the question mark there. I mean, does it necessarily follow that? I mean, I would call it filler because that is what it is. It's like literally original content that is like outside of the source material. But technically, GT kind of goes over this direction and completes. And then when they get back to it, it starts back here. It's like Full Metal Alchemist. It's like that's technically filler beyond like a certain point, and then they go, okay, now let's make Brotherhood. Pretend this didn't happen. It goes on. That's literally what GT is. Pretend this didn't happen. Go back to Cell, and then we're gonna go this way. Go back to Boo. We're going this way now. I don't know, but anyways, what I was saying, it's arguments saying that okay, this is filler. It's boring. Solo leveling, by the way. We're going back to solo leveling. The comments are literally just it's filler. It's boring. Nothing happened except for this. Again, the main part happening. It was all. I'm not going to argue with those people. There's legitimate arguments. If it's boring to you, it's boring to you. I can't. I don't like when people argue against boredom.
Yeah. Because
if it's boring to somebody, they just didn't get it. It didn't hit them. I was arguing for that situation there. I don't personally think that was. It was executed fine in that episode. But I would argue from a personal experience, I only resonated with the emotion of it because of my own experiences. I feel like if I didn't have my own experiences with that stuff and connecting through like a parental thing, I think it would have been a boring episode. I don't think the writer, or at least the adaptation, I'm reading the manhwa along with it, and that's the same case there. Maybe possibly the novel maybe is better, but at least the anime and the manhwa, I don't think it's done well to establish a family. I just have I don't care. Like that's the least of my cares of the story. So it didn't work for me. So I can kind of agree with them. So what it came down to is that's the arguments. Nobody said anything about him crying. Nobody said anything about him showing emotion. That was not why it got 2000. And I can prove it in a sense, in a way, if again, you look at episode 8 of the first season. Again, technically the most disliked episode of Solo Leveling to this point. 3.8 thousand dislikes. What happened in that episode? No fighting. It was disliked 2.5 thousand times, probably because there was just no fighting and people were bored. Can we not try to make this into something like, oh, this is proof people hate guys showing emotion. Oh my gosh, toxic anime industry. Can you just look for it, people. Look for it before you say, my gosh, this is the anime fandom right now. Because you're just burning yourself over some idiot making a false claim that it's because of that. It's just, like I said, on one end, it's so fun to destroy misinformation and rage bait like that. But at the same time, it's like I am literally yelling in a crowd of 1 million people, all outraged by it. And maybe, this little small area hears me and goes, oh yeah, that is BS. That's dumb. But everybody else just moves on with their life, never hearing the other side of it and or even looking into it. And thus you'll probably have like a year down the road, people will come out of nowhere and say, man, you remember the soul leveling incident where people were disliking the episode because he cried? No, dude, go back there. You fell for it. You literally fell for it. Can we stop falling for this stuff? Can we stop, like, if you see a post saying this outrageous thing is true, immediately going, well, that said it, so my gosh. And I think a lot of it is people want to retweet or quote retweet it, and so they can get off of that, bounce off of that outrage and get their stuff engaged. Yeah. And so they don't take the time to look into it. They just go, oh my gosh, guys, look at this. Look what I found. Okay, I'm getting the likes now. Yeah, getting those likes along with it. Yeah, right. And they're making it worse. It's like, can you people stop? Can we stop caring so much about likes and retweets and stop destroying our fandom? Like, this is going to turn this entire podcast episode is me literally going, can we stop? Can we stop feeding the rage? I don't think we'll ever will. Like, I've made the argument before. I think society as a whole is going down the direction of destruction. This is like a deeper topic here, but I literally think, to give you surface level here, because I'd like to make an entire video about this. I think society will continue to go down to the route of destruction, and it's all being fed by likes, retweets, and views. Because what these services do is they feed you based on outrage, and people love creating that outrage to get the engagement. And until I would love these services to remove those damn like buttons. And they were talking about YouTube removing views.
It's a mind hack. It's literally designed to give you dopamine. It's literally designed to give you that constant.
And that's feedback. Why they will never get rid of it.
And there is some portions of our let's just say our humanity that is more susceptible than others, and it sucks that we have any kind of inclination for it. And the best thing you can do, and I hate to say this because at the risk of sounding like one of those, is you got to detox yourself from it. Yeah, you have to let it go.
Well, that's what I said several times. If I wasn't doing content creation, I would have gotten rid of all my social media a long time ago. I literally see nothing but crap in it.
I dumped Facebook like shortly after I started on it. Twitter was the only one that I gave a little bit of time.
We should go back to MySpace.
Huh?
We should go back to MySpace.
God, no.
You don't like going on a website and having 5 different audio files and music playing at the same time, and then stupid glitter GIFs in the background that are like repeating themselves.
All right.
God, those are that's literally the example of a website having cancer. Is MySpace. Every page you go to is literally a vomit. How did that site function is beyond me.
I mean, the one that I stood on longest was Twitter, and that was mostly for the podcast, and even then after I completely screwed my account up by throwing 1.5 million people, following 1.5 million people for the follow back.
That's like, what was it? Mom had the issue with Facebook where she followed or friended a bunch of people for Farmville or whatever it was called, and then like finally she took a break or she stopped playing or something like that, and she's literally had like just like accounts that were posting like terrorism and stuff like that, and she's like, wait, is this like a recruiter or something like that? And then she had to like go through and unfriend so many people. And it took for her, because I think she had like 10,000 people that she had to like clear out of there that weren't like anybody that she actually knew. She was just doing it to get cows and milk and resources from that stupid game. Like so bad. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, you had to unfollow a bunch of people.
Yeah, I still don't even know how many I need to unfollow on mine.
I generally do like, at least like for me, X. I still like the platform, and I mean, especially just for getting like content and information. But it's like, at some point, it has gotten to the point where there's so much of it that's misinformation that you spend more time trying to confirm it. So it turns into one of the things where like I'm scrolling through and suddenly, for example, this last week, I'm scrolling through my feed and suddenly Makeine gets season 2 confirmed. Hell yeah. But no, my brain, the way my brain works is when I see that, I immediately go, okay, stop. Where's the confirmation? Where's the source? And so I'll go to the Makeine's official website. Nothing there. Okay, I'll go to Makeine's X account. Nothing there. That's weird that they would officially confirm and announce a second season, but for some reason their official website and their official Twitter account doesn't want to say. That's sus. Okay, maybe it's a magazine says it. I can't find anybody saying that a magazine, because like Dress Up Darling, their official website, the Twitter account did not say that it had another season come, or when the season was coming, when it was announced that it was 2025, right? 2025, right? Their recent announcements, I think it was 2025. They gave the date or whatever, or the year or whatever, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But then I found out that it was on a magazine, which yes did lead me to going to Amazon JP. Which on Amazon JP they have the listing for that magazine and a description of the magazine. It confirms it there. So it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay. There's times where you can't have a source because it's a magazine announcement or something like that. But it's like I've gotten to a point now where it's like I'm scrolling and forcing myself not to get excited about certain news and whatnot because it's always BS. It's just, again, people wanting clicks. And it comes down to that whole struggle that I have, and this got into my whole argument around the ReZero crap, was like, there's so many times where these leaks just cause more damage than do any good. Yeah. And that was the case with like No Game No Life. The author of No Game No Life like came on to X and was like, I just woke up to just a flood of messages of people asking about this. No, there's no announcement. like people are just bombarding them to find out if this leak is true. And it's like, stop. Can we stop trying to destroy everybody else for your engagement? Because like I said with that whole video, and I say it with a lot of things, there's so many cases where this stuff becomes toxic for not the leaker, because people are just end up forgetting who said it. It becomes toxic for the creators. Mm-hmm. Because like the whole situation with Madhouse and One Punch Man, people got furious with Madhouse when they weren't doing the next season. Why? They never said they were doing it. They don't have any control over it. It's the producers. They went with JC Staff, and everybody was saying it was going to be Madhouse. Can you stop? Again, you can tell that I get angry at this stuff. I get super passionate when it comes to leaks. I am just so sick of it. I even had like with my ReZero video, everybody said that I was talking about this one leaker, and I'm like, I was talking about that other video that was saying that, like, we just confirmed that episode 16 is the last episode. We knew that from, like, early last year. But, like, it turned this whole thing where, like, I was getting mad about that video, and everybody's like, oh, he's talking about this leaker. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then that leaker ended up responding to my video. I'm like, it wasn't even bad. I was just talking about how I hate leakers. And you could do whatever the hell, I even said in the video, you could do whatever the hell you want. If you like leaks, that's fine. I just hate the toxicity it creates. Because people don't want to chill out. Yeah. People don't want to wait. Like, I get it. Like, yes, with the Makeine thing, too many losing heroines. I really battle on a second season. But I've learned to not care until I see it officially said. I'm not getting myself excited. There is again, like I think we talked about last week, there's an event coming literally next month, but I'm not going to get myself excited. I'm going to wait for that, and I'm going to be watching that feed like a hawk, hoping that they go, season 2 is coming. But until then, no. No. I mean, there's even a side of me that's kind of, I'm so mixed on if it gets a second season. That last episode has me cautious. I know why they did it, but it could be for two different reasons. Because that final episode felt like a it didn't feel like a source material bait, but it felt like a that's it, folks, kind of ending. Like they all come together, they have a fun time at the park, and it even teases a little bit at relationship there that kind of concerns me because they haven't developed. Well, they've developed On's relationship with him, obviously, but it felt like almost it was trying to push On's relationship on him, and that doesn't feel right to the development of their relationship if they're going to do a second season. But at the same time, I understand that they may not have want to. There's a possibility the next part of the book or the novel series which would have been adapted into that last episode, could have been starting up the next, big storyline. And so they didn't want to essentially source material bait it. Like, yeah, just suddenly out of nowhere, a new kid appears in the class and they're like, having a problem. And then suddenly the episode ends and it's like, that's it. That would suck. I don't know if you felt the same way. I mean, it's not a Shadow House situation, that's for sure.
All right.
Because Shadow House was like, literally, they didn't know that a second season was coming, so they completely cut out a character introduction.
No, I thought that Makeine book ended well. I didn't specifically feel bothered by it.
Besides the fact that the girl that got the boyfriend ended up like licking a pop in the middle of the park. It was such a bad scene.
No, on the leak note, I agree with you on the toxicity aspect. I don't think that should ever be any kind of toxic retaliation in any way, shape, or form. I think that people should separate the leak from the go back to the source. Don't necessarily go back to the original intent. I mean, I've always been, I think we've discussed leaks a few times, and it's usually in regards to, in my opinion, I think leaks are fun. I really do. However, I do notice the problem that is being caused by them, and I think that that's the bigger issue. The leaks in themselves, half the time, I mean, it's just somebody who's being wishful and wanting to make it an excitement. But the problem is that people are taking it way too far and blaming like I think that you were mentioning somebody had a leak had came out and then they turned around and they backlashed onto the producer and being mad at the producer for not producing something. And it's like, we never said that. That was never a thing. So yeah, it's unfair to the producers to blame them for something that these guys are doing. You're putting you're aiming the anger and vitriol at the wrong person.
Yeah, it basically comes down to what essentially is a leak. It is that somebody is involved with the production line of something, seen something, and said, "Hey guys, this is happening," and that typically comes down to, okay, the production, the route in which a anime is being made is literally, okay, person with money or person with an idea come together, and they go, "Let's make this." And then it goes to, okay, now let's go find a studio to make this. Okay, or to go to the IP to get the rights to do it. And okay, then now we got to find a studio. Let's check with like these 3 studios. One Punch Man, you could have been checking with Madhouse, could have been checking with JC Staff at the same time. And then they go into, okay, we've been agreeing with this studio. We're not agreeing with this studio. So we'll go with this studio. And then they go to the process of making it. And then you have to go to the whole pre-production plan, which is going into how many episodes we're going to make. Okay, put together a storyboard so we can figure out how it's going to fit with the, 24 episodes. And they come back and say, no, that's going to be way too much to do in this time period. Let's scale it back 12 episodes for now. And we'll go into this. And again, any point in that process, when a decision is being made and not cemented yet, a leak can go out, and then people have the wrong idea about what to expect. Oh, ReZero is going to be this many episodes. Oh, Madhouse is doing One Punch Man. Oh, this studio is going to handle this whole thing. Oh, it's going to be this many episodes. Oh, this person's working on it. Oh, it goes on. In the production of something, decisions are being made, choices are being changed, and that's the key thing. So it's not like, in a lot of cases, leaks can be correct at some point. And that's where the problem really comes down to. I mean, we had that whole situation with Edis the Garden, not Edis the Garden Slayer, the Mad Dog. There was like a lot of people saying the Blu-ray release of season 2 of Mushoku Tensei was going to have the Mad Dog OVA. It didn't. Oh, they must have changed their mind. Well, no. like it's a leak. I know for sure this is true. And then it's not true, and it's, well, they must change their mind. Okay, so you're just keep trusting me, bros. It's just like, again, things can be true, but it's just changed. It's just it's never going away.
Well,
it's only
here's
gonna get worse.
something for everybody to consider.
I forgot.
Here's
A
something
figure showing her Ponzu at Chris because I knocked it over.
Here's something for everybody to consider. The random YouTube content creator that you found on the internet who has maybe 400 or 500 views, he doesn't probably have a more of a connection to the anime industry than us. Not saying that we're something special,
Trust
and we
me,
have
bro.
That's just what I'm saying.
Source, trust me, bro. Well, it's like that whole thing is like, well, unless you can cite, if you can't cite the source, then I don't really care. Well, if I do say who the source is, they'll get in trouble. It's like,
yeah.
Then go away. I don't care.
I mean, and they may very well have some kind of connection to the anime industry, but can you go based on, like Andrew said, trust me, bro? I mean, really?
And I think the bigger issue that I really have with a lot of that stuff is like I know somebody that's currently in the project. They can't say who they are, and they're saying the director is ruining everything. Don't even bother. Don't even talk to me. I don't care. If I can't see like legitimately this is actually happening, stop with that crap. I am so sick of this. The director's at fault. They're the one causing all the problems. Oh, it's the producer. The producer is a jerk and coming in there and storming in there. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, and your sources could be right too, and I feel bad for them if that's the case, but I'm not going to go out there and make a video saying, my gosh, the producer of, this series is a dirtbag, and my gosh, everybody, he's a dirtbag. When I have no video proof, I have no written proof, I don't have an email to work off of, I don't have anything to tell me besides, again, source, trust me, bro. Yeah. If I did that, man, I would be endless content. Getting a DM from people saying, my gosh, did you hear about, the producer of this show is a tyrant and everybody's stuck under their desk right now? One, yeah, which studio? Like... Like, that's not narrowing it down. Like, all these studios have the same problems, people. It's not just MAPPA or whatever. But you want me to create a hit piece video on some dude I don't even know?
Yeah. Because
of some person I don't even know? Because trust me, bro, give me a break. No, there's plenty of other content creators out there. I'm sure you know which one. Go to them. Go to them. Have them do it. I ain't gonna be the one that starts up a crap show over this kind of stuff. That stuff happens all the time. These people get death threats. Y'all need to grow up at that point. This is ridiculous. Ugh. I'm getting heat up again. Anyways, so that's been part of my week right there. Mm-hmm. Getting fussy about this crap. It's, again, like I said before, it's not going anywhere at this point. I literally think it's never gonna go away. Because again, the algorithm, the likes, the retweets, the comments, it all says give me more. It all says just give me more slop that I'm going to eat up. Tell me how people hate males crying and soul leveling. I'm going to eat it up and retweet it because, damn, this has got to be true because we all just want to be mad all the time.
Yeah.
We just want to be mad all the time, and it makes Andrew mad all the time. I'm just gonna go back over here to my corner and make a video about how I had a lot of fun watching Hahari attack all the girls with tentacle hairs. Watching Hahari thirst over the girls and take over the world with tentacle hairs. I'm sure you did get to watch that episode, Dave. No?
Yes, I did.
You did? It was good. It was good. And, the Hakari and Kanane moment was like, that's so priceless. I love the two of them. Just like, no, you gotta let me go. I'm not. I'd rather die. No, seriously, let me go. You're hurting my arm. How dare you let go of me? I'm what? Such a dorky show.
I'm totally not enjoying this.
Yeah, it's not gonna enjoy this or anything. Anyways, did we talk about Frieren season 2 being slated for next January?
I think you mentioned it in the last couple of weeks. So I don't know if we did it on video or not.
I don't know if we talked about it because we did our What did we do last week? Oh, we did a spoiler cast talk. Are you excited for January for it to come back?
Of course I am.
Exciting. I was a little bit like scared for a second there because when I first heard January 2026,
Did you get a leak that said that it was going to a different company or a different studio?
Yeah, new director, by the way. I got a leak saying that the director's not gonna be the guy from Bocchi the Rock. It's gonna be a different director. So he pulled the rug out from underneath all you. Like everybody's freaking out that the director isn't working on Bocchi the Rock season 2, and they're like, he's totally working on Frieren season 2, and he's literally saying, I can't talk about it yet. And then like now it's gonna come out of nowhere. It's gonna be like just some random dude is gonna be the director of Frieren season 2, and everybody's gonna be like, dude, what the hell is he doing? And it comes out he's directing One Punch Man season 3, which they probably already have a director announced for that. I don't know.
You know what? I just hot off the press, I got a leak that the guy from Evangelion is doing it.
Hideaki Anno is going to be directing Frieren season 2.
Yeah. It's on.
What's your source, Chris?
I have it right here.
What's your source, Chris?
It's
Brokun
CHAT GPT.
Trust to me, brodu. Trust to me, brodu. Anyways, yeah. I was concerned because like they greenlit Frieren season 2 in April, but then I'm like, I had to catch myself, but because that technically was the announcement of greenlighting, it could have been. I have no doubts they started working on season 2 like right after season 1 ended, because I mean it was doing really well for them. Maybe a couple months break off of it, and then come back and start working on it again. I want it to be as beautiful as possible. Just take your time. I mean, I think I was even saying that when season 1 ended, and I'm like, okay, I don't need an announcement right off the bat. It's fine. Just cook it. Take your time. Okay, when are you gonna announce it? Like 3 months later, it's like, when are you gonna announce it? Are you gonna announce it yet? And then they finally announce it. It's like, okay, take your time again. But when is it coming? No, take your time. But when is season 2 coming? When are we gonna get a trailer? Take your time though. Can I get a trailer yet? Because I really do think that is something that I think is, dude, looking at spring 2025, obviously we have our preview. Hopefully we'll do the preview next week, and that gets into what I'm going to talk about. Looking at spring 2025, I think that season is going to be a trash fire of some sort. There's too many shows that look way either undercooked or they have problems. Like we talked about before, the beginning after the end, that 1 minute, first minute of the show that IGN posted. And again, that could have just been somebody gave them the wrong materials, or, Billy spilled coffee on that cut, digitally spilled coffee on that set of, in-betweens. And so they didn't have it ready for the end. But just looking at the trailer of Tabat, again, the fact that it was missing that little segment, and then, shoot, we have, what's that other show that just literally, I think, got greenlit for, not greenlit, but confirmed for next season. It's the one with the robot girl, if you know what I'm talking about. The sex robot that the boy is a classmate of his. You know what I'm talking about? Maka. I'll find it in a second. It's an anime about like this guy's classmate is like really hot, and she shows up at his house, and she's literally actually a robot, and yes, a robot that services. And he has to help her keep it a secret. Kakushite Makina-san.
The bending time element to it?
No, that's the put him on whatever san.
The pennies.
Yeah, the penny time jumping. No, this is Kakushite Makina-san, or what was it like? I don't have an English title for it. Anyways, the problem I have with the show is I want to say that it was set to be spring, but anyways, it is now official. It's coming out in spring. Now, let me preface this. As much as I love the key art of it, she looks way cute. I even checked out the manga because I need to investigate it for my news report talking about it. So I had to make sure I knew what it was about.
Yeah.
Because I do that with every single show that gets announcements. I'd check out the source material. This one especially.
Yeah.
So I was investigating the manga. The manga is pretty fun, but the problem that I have is I immediately was like, okay, this is probably not going to be a good adaptation, mainly because Blooms and Wolfsbane's working on it. I mean, Isekai Onsen,
Okay.
high caliber studio.
Gotcha.
High caliber studio there. I forget what the other show they made, but it's like this is a pretty trash studios. Now again, like I always say, maybe this is the breakout. Maybe this is a breakout. Did they? Oh, that was produced, isn't it? So I knew it was going to be good unless they just for some reason get a really high budget out of nowhere. But now we have a confirmation it's coming out April 7th, and we have no trailer. No trailer at all. It's coming out in less than a month, and we have no trailer for it. I can't even find screenshots. All we have is that one key art. Well, there's two key arts. There's one where she's laying on the bed and her leg is like disconnected. And there's one where she's kind of like sitting on the ground looking up all, wholesomely. Now,
Wholesomely.
It's, again, Trash Studios. It's a 15-minute short. It's going to have a censored and uncensored version. So that's good. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to end up on High Dive. I kind of hope it ends up on High Dive. That way they hopefully go out of their way in order to get the more wholesome version. But the fact that, again, that we are 27 days away and we have nothing to work with here besides the key art, I feel like this is going to be a dumpster fire of a show. I will still watch it, and I will at least hope that it looks looks
At least
good.
It's moving a little bit.
It moves a little bit, but I doubt it. But again, like with that, what was the other examples I got? I mean, the Yandere Elf one looks okay, but again, I don't really expect too much out of like ecchi shows anymore. It's unfortunate because the Yandere Elf one's going to be plus size elf studio, which again, you'll probably have some pretty good looking stills here and there, but it's not gonna do very well. There was another show that I was looking at, like so many of the trailers I was looking at as I was going through the spring list, and again putting together our preview outline, which we should have next week. Some of this stuff is just like, you guys aren't even trying. It goes back to our statement before about the idea of the industry itself seemingly, just the floodgates are open. There's so much investment coming in. These studios literally can't keep up. They're not getting paid well enough. They're not given enough time. It's just these producers are getting the investment and they're going, make this. You have this schedule. Get it up before spring. It needs to be here in fall. Get it made. You have 2 weeks to work on it. Get to work on it. We just need to turn it out so that we can put this money investment into this project, and then we'll pocket the rest of it, or we'll do, merchandising or advertising. And they're just turning out money. And the studios can't keep up. And like I said before, with Tabat, again,
are we at the edge, Andrew?
Well,
is that what you're getting? Is that the main point you're trying to get to?
I don't like to be a doomer.
I think Andrew's.
So
I think Andrew's calling it. I think Andrew's calling it.
So I'm glad you called me out. I'm going to preface this. This is like 4 shows that I've seen that look really bad in a bad state out of 50 shows. So we're gonna see those things burn.
Got 50 shows this next season. I thought you were saying it was.
You got like 60. I don't know. I just threw out a number, Chris. You want me to count it? But it's, again, to my point, on the opposite end, Lazarus looks amazing. Heron-san looks great. I'm sure that the Vigilante show is going to look great. Witch Watch looks really fantastic. Summer Pockets is, I think, a 2-core, and it's already fully produced. I think it was 2-core, wasn't it? Do you remember? I don't know. I just know that Summer Pockets is fully produced. They announced that it was fully produced. So I can say that, but there is a lot of stuff that is doing well. I'm assuming that Gundam GQX is decently put together because they already did the film release of like the first 2 or 3 episodes, ? It's not to say that everything's falling apart. My gosh, Apocalyptic. I'm not talking about the shows yet. Next week, Apocalypse Hotel looks incredible. Anyways, there's still plenty there that's going to be doing well. It's just I do have my concerns. I mean, even people are talking about Madhouse taking, or not Madhouse. Look, it's burning my brain now. Was it JC Staff that's working on One Punch Man? Whoever's working on One Punch, I think it's JC Staff. Whoever's working on One Punch Man season 3, the fact that they don't really have much to release for it, what's released doesn't look that great. It's like, I don't know. I'm worried. And to that point, how much stuff is getting, announced for spring at the last minute? Like, that can't be good. Are we? It makes me wonder if some of the stuff, like with Makeine-san, again, we don't have a trailer for it yet. Was it pulled forward because they needed to fill a time slot? Like, why are we announcing this late and not having anything available for it? Does Tabat need to be put off? Just put it off. Like, why can't we not just put it off? I don't know. I think a lot of Tabat fans would be happy if they said, "Look, we just want to work on it for a little bit longer." Actually, probably not. They people would probably get mad.
The people who get mad about leaks are the same ones that you're saying are going to be nice about the fact that they're going to say, "Hold on, we're going to hold up a little bit."
Yeah, you were told me it was going to be spring. Anyways, in good news, let's get some happy news. But yeah, I'm super excited about that spring preview. Like, I'm already my list right now, because for those who don't know, typically I will do my video for my most anticipated, typically about a week before we'll get around to doing our podcast on it, which is pretty much me giving a teaser about everything that I'm enjoying that's coming up. And then we do the podcast where we break down everything. And I typically like to do 10 new shows of my most anticipated for next season. I have like 14 in the list, and I don't know which one's to cut. That's how good it's looking. Now, granted, it was easier winter because why? Most of the shows were returners, but we don't have nearly as much returners coming. I mean, we have like Fire Force coming back and Ahead and Sun, which is great, but like compared to winter, it's very much a new show heavy season. So, but yeah, I'm like just already with 14. I'm like, this is gonna be difficult. Anyways, look forward to that. Teasing it. But yeah, we did Anime Trending and Anime Corner released their Anime of the Year picks.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say both of them, Danger My Heart was in the top 2.
All right.
They both pretty much had my feelings of Dangers and Frieren like neck to neck. Like, I think even with the votings, like the score, like with Anime Corner, they listed their votes was 10.55 for Dangers and 10.5 or 10.37 for Frieren. So it's literally 0.2 around there difference between the two votes, and Dangers won. So I was like, hell yeah. Danger My Heart season 2 is getting attention over here at Anime Corner. And like I said, Frieren was number 1 and Dangers was 2 on Anime Trending, which I'm like all for. I'm happy to see, like I've said before, I'm happy to see companies, other groups that are doing their award ceremonies that are kind of building up, because obviously people are getting sick of Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
They're getting sick of the Shonen Awards, which I don't know. Do you think Frieren will win Crunchyroll's? I don't see the judges snuffing Frieren. And it's going to be heavily leaning with the judges, obviously, because the judges give a weight in the Crunchyroll Awards. I can see them pushing Frieren, but do you think Jujutsu Kaisen will end up dominating even Frieren? It wouldn't shock me. But I've asked like 5 people that are close to me.
Frieren was on
like,
Crunchyroll, right?
Yeah. And so was
the
Jujutsu
only
Kaisen.
thing that I could see happening.
Danger's the only one I see getting snuffed because it's on High Dive.
Right.
But Dandadan, Frieren, and Jujutsu Kaisen, and then you have the Hashida Demon Slayer arc.
The only thing I can see happening, and forgive me, y'all, I have a habit of pointing this out, is just how out of touch a lot of these judges are. The problem
And it makes sense,
that,
right? Because what are the judges? They're mainstream journalists.
Yes.
And what do mainstream journalists have time to do? Watch one anime that everybody's talking about. Because if they talk about anything that's not popular, they're not going to get attention. And they make their money with attention.
Now, what I keep hoping will happen is the votes will not necessarily outweigh the judges, because I know that's not going to happen.
No, because it's percentage.
What I'm hoping will happen is they'll see a show that is so overwhelmingly that just pushes so overwhelmingly that Crunchyroll has to say, "Oh, wait, something's going on here." You know what I'm saying? Like something that's just so.
Are you talking Are you talking about some conspiracy theory stuff here? Are we talking conspiracy theories?
I don't know what you mean.
Like Crunchyroll goes, "Damn it, we can't ignore that show anymore, but it's not on our platform." I mean, I'm
Something
joking.
like
I
that.
joke about that, but a lot of people do believe that. I don't necessarily subscribe to it. Like with Cyberpunk, there was a lot of people that was like, because it was too big, Crunchyroll couldn't ignore it, and they were forced to have Cyberpunk win, even though they didn't want a non-Crunchyroll show to win. I'm like, it's not that deep, dude. It's not that deep. But would it shock me? Would it shock me if suddenly out of nowhere a leak comes out that they were forced to their hand was forced or whatever, and they decided against snuffing it? It wouldn't shock me, but I don't think so.
No, I'm not. I don't know anything about that. Are you talking
about the split vote? The idea of like, I believe personally, because Cyberpunk, I think the year that Cyberpunk Edge Runners won was, I think, the first year that I was not a judge. And knowing how the system itself works, my assumption that what happened with Cyberpunk was that the big shows, not Cyberpunk, the big shows, which was, I think at the time, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, ? And Demon Slayer. What I think happened is that you had a bunch of like really popular mainstream shonens that were splitting the vote.
Right.
So if the judge's vote itself is like a massive portion, which I think is 50, right? Is 50%?
Something like that.
If you have 50% of it itself, that's a massive weight to tip the scales. And so when you have the fandom is doing their own thing, I have my votes over here, this is here. The other half, if you have like the judges are split between like two big properties, and then you have right in the middle, you have literally Cyberpunk is building up. Because these two other votes are so split, this one takes a majority of it and it overcomes the judge system.
Right.
And I think that could technically happen again with something like Dangers, with something like Frieren, over, again, Dan, which I'm perfectly fine. By the way, I'm perfectly fine with Dan, over something like Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen is obviously going to have a popular vote. This side of the pie is going to be massively filled with Jujutsu Kaisen because literally everybody watched Jujutsu Kaisen. Barely anybody watches Dangers. Barely anybody watches any of the other shows. The judges itself will still force it in a direction, but that split vote causes it to flip.
I'm not necessarily talking about that either. I'm
Damn
really...
it! I'll figure it out eventually.
more along.
Oh, so what you're talking about is
more what I'm talking about is just the idea that something forces them to reevaluate this system in general.
Oh, I would love that.
That's really all I want, because I don't know what it would take to do it again, and I don't know that I'm at this point where I've lost all hope for them at this point. But my hope is that at some point they say this is what is the most popular, and the entire fandom goes this way, and they're like, guys, wait, this is what you're okay, I guess maybe that is the thing that we're supposed to be paying attention to.
Wasn't it Sony PlayStation? Wasn't it Sony PlayStation that had didn't they do an awards thing at some point where you had to go to the store and you bought a free product that would cast your vote for a game? Was that PlayStation? I think it was PlayStation. I seem to remember, and I might be completely, I don't know, maybe this is a fever dream at some point. I thought it was true. or it implanted in my brain. I seem to remember there was some sort of voting system that required you to go into a console store and you bought your vote. You went to the store, you went to the section that was vote for the best of this whatever thing, and you selected your game that you wanted to vote for, and it was just a fake product page, and you pressed buy, and that counted your vote as you voted for that. It didn't charge you anything, obviously. It's just that you were voting through the system, and it was a cool way of doing it because you had to be logged into your account, which you could not technically have. It would be a very long process to create multiple accounts just to go to the store in this PlayStation and buy. We're talking about $1 billion company here. They can't literally just make a store. They can't make a website where literally every single show is available to select, and you just select it. Like, if anybody that could, if they're going to do this every single year, why not make that the process and make it full population vote?
I don't see why they don't tie it to your Crunchyroll account. It seems absolutely absurd.
It is technically.
I understand why they don't.
The voting,
because they want people that are outside of their particular site.
Isn't the voting process required to be logged in?
Not that I remember.
Maybe it just requires an email, because I know, like, yeah, obviously with like the whole situation with Yuri on Ice, that got bombarded, and they loved it. But I don't remember what the actual voting process is. I never vote, by the way, because I never did before because I was a judge. I have an excuse, and I never just got around to it anyways after that.
I know that they have, several different reasons. Obviously, the having the anime awards on Crunchyroll drives them traffic. Gotcha.
It gets mainstream attention.
They don't want to bottleneck it into only people that are Crunchyroll subscriber. Why? Because they don't want the people who are outside of the Crunchyroll subscription model.
They want them to come there and
sign up.
If they come there and it's like, oh, you have to have a Crunchyroll account, well, I don't bother. But they come there, then they shop.
Yes.
It's doorbusters.
So
the Anime Awards is a glorified storebuster.
There's several different reasons. That just off the top of my head, I can see them doing it. I think that it's silly not to kind of streamline it and bottleneck it into a subscription model, but it's their system, and I don't have a lot of hope for it ever coming around at this point.
Well, my whole thing there really is that I personally do acknowledge the worth of a judge system for nominations. As much as I hate it, my argument really for the judging system that they have currently right now is that they need to have better judges. They need to have qualifications. You can't expect a judge to select amongst 200 plus shows every single year what is the best of the best, when literally most of the people that are on that judging panel, and again, not saying all, I hate that every time I bring this up, it's like, no, you're talking bad about this content creator, and they actually do watch a lot of shows. I'm not saying every, but a majority of them, let's be honest, are people with magazines that, yes, cover anime for those magazines, but they're not covering barely any shows a season. So how do they know about those shows that are off the beaten path that end up being really good? They're waiting and looking at the pulse, if anything, and they're going, oh, a lot of people are talking about this, let me check it out. In a lot of cases, these are people that are not watching most of these shows, and thus cannot tell legitimately what is the best of the best. If all they're watching is, say, 1 or 2 shows a season, and covering that, which for most people is normal, you can't expect those individuals watching 1 or 2 shows a season to be able to say definitively, this is the best picks for romance. This is the best picks for drama. I think a really good way of testing the waters here, ask every single one of those individuals that was a judge, did they watch Tsumasho? I can guarantee you probably at least all but maybe 2 or 3 of them don't even know what the hell you're talking about. So how can you definitively say that your picks for the drama is the best picks? Because you probably didn't watch one of the most off the beaten path show. I think before, groups like Anime Corner and Anime Trending came out, ask how many of them watched Days with My Stepsister. Easily one of the most beautiful directed and produced story with some very thought-provoking storylines in there out last year. But so many of them probably don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, is that a Syscon show? No, we don't cover hentai. No. Did you watch Days with My Sister? Yeah, we don't watch ecchi shows. No. Did you watch the show? You have no clue what you're talking about. Shoot, Girls Bang Cry. If it didn't get as much of a rave that it did with the fandom, I doubt most of them watched Girls Bang Cry. Doubt any of them watched Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. Heck no, it's on High Dive. Nobody's watching that. I don't need to cover that because nobody's gonna click on my article if I talk about Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. It really does come down to a good chunk of the judges is literally curated by who will click on their articles. That's the reality of it in the end. Mm-hmm. I still acknowledge the worth of the judges though, because I think that there needs to be somebody to steer the boat, because if you just ask the fandom, if you just ask the public, you're going to come with a list of the most popular shows. But but that's what the judges are doing. I acknowledge what I'm saying here, by the way. I acknowledge that I'm saying that. That's exactly what the judges for these mainstream articles are doing anyways. But you're going to get a list of nothing but the most popular shows, and that doesn't tell you what is the best shows. But in the end, if it comes down to just the vote anyways, and it doesn't have a judge pull to it, it's going to come down to the popular vote anyways. It's a hard thing to fix. And so I acknowledge
and
that.
Plus, you'll also have the troll shows popping up on the list as well. I mean,
yes.
I'm being honest. I mean,
yes.
Could you imagine if it was just the full on fandom that randomly Nokotan would pop up on the list, and it'd be like,
hey, yeah, it'll come down to like was it the soccer anime suddenly gets popping up on best animation or something like that. Like the worst animated shows ever are going to end up on the top list. Like you're gonna have like the level 1 cheat skill is going to end up in animation, and it's gonna beat Demon Slayer.
And don't get frustrated with me, y'all. I know it's a thing. It's a thing, and everybody says it.
It needs rails. Okay, I acknowledge it needs rails. But I wouldn't put it past their capabilities, though, in the end, to do a 100% popular vote. And there's nothing wrong with doing both. And they technically do, is they'll do like, okay, this is the fan votes, and all they basically do is take away the judge weight. But using it, they have the capability of making a website where you can go to, and you go, basically, type in the name of your show, and it'll have like a drop down that's popping up to, fill it out, and you select Frieren. Like you're typing FRI and Frieren Beyond Journey, and you click on it, and bam, that's your selection there. They could literally have every single show in the year, and you could literally fill out your entire list of every show that aired. They could do it. Then there comes a problem though, is will they have every single show on there, including H? What's the boundaries for that whole thing? Is some shows not going to end up on that list? But they could do it. They literally could do it. Or they can have it literally tied in with Mal. They could talk to Mal and say, hey, we need some way of tapping into your database. That way you can pull up those titles, and they can select what shows they want to select. They can select any Seiyu, any character that's on Mal. Could do it.
You realize how much hatred you just gave me for Crunchyroll? They have literally one of the biggest technology companies at their beck and call.
That's my whole point.
And their website sucks.
Yes. What are we talking about? Which one?
Sony.
Which website? Which one?
Crunchyroll.
Okay. Which one? Which one? So you're saying a Japanese?
We're sitting here talking about the daggum thing, and we're talking about populating. Wait,
well, that's why I said billion-dollar company.
Populating a daggum drop-down box is not that hard, but no, apparently, a company with one of the biggest technology companies behind them can't do it.
We're talking about a Japanese tech company. Yeah, the expectations are limited. I mean, this is the company that literally got involved in a massive data breach for PlayStation that required them to literally give everybody years of identity protection. It is what it is. What are we talking about? Yeah, like I said, I'm glad of groups like Anime Corner. Anime Corner is not as big, but Anime Trending definitely. Like they even got like the creators behind these properties responding to it, and that's where I love it. Like I love, them basically saying, "Hey, look, we gave Days of My Stepsister this award," and you literally have the directors and the author that basically coming out and saying, "Thanks so much." I'm glad everybody over there. Ichikawa of Danger to My Heart literally responding to the fact that he won voice actor best boy, and so he's just like, "Oh, this is so great that you guys love this so much. I'd love to come over there and celebrate with you guys." That kind of stuff. That's why I was doing the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. That's why I was a judge there. I hated the system, and I got so frustrated with the system, but I kept doing it because I thought I loved what it was doing, and that was bringing attention to properties, bringing attention to the creators and the anime that we love so much. It's just unfortunate that it turns into mostly just, the Demon Slayer Awards, or the Shonen Awards they call it. But I would be not surprised at all if this next year. I don't really want it to happen, but I again, not that it doesn't deserve it in the end because people love it. I wouldn't doubt that Jujutsu Kaisen sweeps it again.
Just based on what you're saying, I suspect that the Crunchyroll will probably drop Anime Awards soon.
I agree and disagree, but probably for a different reason that you're probably implying is I was surprised they did it in Japan again last year, because I thought that was gonna be like a one and done, like, oh yeah, let's flex that we're in Japan. But I think really, let's be truthful, the only reason they're doing it in Japan is because it makes people think it's more official. Look, we're in Japan. We're in the hometown of the animes. We're legit because we're in Japan. Nobody cares that it's in Japan, except for mainstream thinking that it's going to make it feel like it's more official. The weebs are going to think it's more official because they don't really get many people that would really want them to be there to accept awards that I think should. But the fact they did it 2 years in a row was kind of surprising, and that could just be the fact that they booked it. I mean, I think it's literally their building, isn't it? Is it literally their building?
I don't know.
So it doesn't really matter anyways. But I honestly think I agree and disagree for the reason of, one, acknowledging why they do it. Why does Crunchyroll do the Anime Awards? It's to get mainstream attention. They don't care to make an awards ceremony for the fans. It's been proven countless times they don't care about providing the fan with a proper award ceremony. Mm-hmm. They don't care to give us something that we want. They care about catering to the massive majority that don't watch much on their platform but one show to confirmation bias them. What it comes down to is what the reason they do the ceremony for is so that those people that are the judges on the platform that they bring on, there's a reason why the judges are who they are. And again, this isn't all of them, but a majority of the judges, if you look at the list, what is it? They're mainstream dead article magazines. These are old legacy magazines. And what does the legacy magazines do? It gets their voice out. So you come in, hey, we want you to be a judge for the Anime Awards. And these people are like, oh man, I made one article about Demon Slayer. I can be on the judges. That'll help my brand. That'll get my name out there. It'll bring attention to a magazine. So it's cross-pollination. Mm-hmm. Oh, so I can be on that award ceremony as a judge? Heck yeah, let me do that. And they get a part of it. And then what happens when the ceremony happens, they're incentivized to then go to their magazine and say, I need to make an article to talk about the Crunchyroll Anime Awards because I was a judge there. And then they make their article, and that gives it to the public. It's a cross-pollination. It's all marketing. And then you add on to that whole crap storm that thankfully last year they didn't do it again. The multi-voting. Get people keep coming back. Keep coming back. Tell your friends, keep coming back. Tell your friends come in here to keep voting too. Keep coming back to the website. Keep coming back. It's all marketing. Vote by doing hashtag your show. Marketing. It's all marketing. It's nothing to do with what wins. It's never been about what wins. It's never been about putting on a show for you. It's all about looking like there's something really big and getting it more accepted as normal in society, which I think is a good thing and a bad thing. I don't want it to be as popular as it's gotten because then it brings in things to ruin it. But I do acknowledge that it is sort of helping normalize that anime exists by bringing it to a bigger audience. But it's always been about marketing. So to your point, I was getting there.
I don't think you're in the same ballpark as me, but go for it.
But no, I literally said it's for a different reason. My whole point is I agree with you on the idea that they're going to meet saturation point for this marketing. And when that happens, they will no longer see a reason for doing the Anime Awards. If they at some point realize that they're not getting enough back in new subs and attention to their website for doing the Anime Awards, they will stop. So my whole point was I agree and disagree, but for a different reason, in the idea that I think it's going to stop happening because it's all for marketing, and eventually it will no longer bring back any sort of benefit. Because it does cost them.
Yeah.
This is costing them a lot of money to do. As much as it doesn't, it's not the greatest thing ever. It does cost a lot of money to put together all that stuff, to do the broadcast, bring everybody there, get everybody set up, record it, editing, all that kind of stuff. Pre-production, post-production. It does cost some money. Putting together the website, coding it, that all costs money. If it doesn't bring them back money, why are we spending money on this? Cut it.
Yep.
It's a big loss of money.
I would also say it in a different way. I think that
Let me say it with a high-pitched voice.
let me say it with a
You're like, I would say it, but in a different way. I would say it with a high-pitched voice, so it's all about marketing. Sorry, it's a stupid joke. That's a total dad joke, all right?
I would go in a different direction with it but yet I still think that we're hitting the same tone.
Thanks for playing in my joke.
My main point would probably be more along the lines of the decentralization of it. People are sick of it, and once we have reached out to a point where, like you were saying, that we find a different route to get to those people, which, what is the idea of it? You've already hit it several times. You want to support it because it's getting a message from us to those creators and saying, hey, we actually love what you do. And so by finding a different route to get to them, we've taken out the middleman. We no longer need Crunchyroll to acknowledge and get that word over to them that says, hey, we like what you do. Crunchyroll has by default, by not necessarily corrupting the system, but not doing what it is that we keep as a fandom, not us specifically, but as a fandom, we keep telling them, you need to say, these guys are the ones that are doing it right. Oh, no. We have curated a special pot of
carefully
approved,
curated.
We have a special pot of approved people that you can like. So here's the people that you're allowed to like. Well, no, we don't like those. We want to like these ones. And by doing that, they've effectively ruined themselves as our basically communicators to them, which they were already doing that. They've been squandering that for years, so whatever.
Yeah, that hasn't changed. I mean, it is a positive sign that groups like, and this could be to that whole point, anime trending. I'm not sure if this is all the votes, but just like tallying up the top, what is it, like 10 they have here, or is this 8? Yeah, their top 10, their anime of the year nominees, they had like 67,000 votes. That's a lot. That is a massive pool of people that were voting there. I don't think they did a daily vote. If they did, that's not that much if it's daily vote. But that's sort of my hope there, is really like, this is a future hope for me. And of course, not to say that anime trending can't go down that route as well if it eventually gets bigger, but and I don't really have any knowledge of who's their judges or whatnot and how they pick their nominees. I think their anime trending specifically is based on how many times it trends per week during the season. So like if I think, and don't quote me on this, I think it's something to the effect of like obviously every week when a season's going on, people vote for what their favorite shows are that year or that week. And if a show gets at number one or whatever, multiple weeks, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks, it will be put in the nominations for that season. And then after that's like towards the year. So they're basing it based on people voting every single week during the entirety of the year of the anime. So it's like on the spot, which is kind of a good thing if you think about it, because, okay, there's good and bads about this. The good thing is that it's not like hey guys, it's December 30th. What was your favorite show in winter? Hey guys, it's December 30th. What's your favorite show over the entire year? And you don't even remember what the hell aired 12 months ago.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting in the moment, people saying what's working every single week. The problem with that is that you have things getting in that nomination that may have had 2 really good episodes and then the rest of the show sucks. And then it ends up in the nominations because the first 2 episodes were great, but the rest of the show, like if a show literally had like 2 episodes of incredible animation, what was that show? It was the one that was based on the Rooster Teeth show. Ruby. Case in point, Ruby had a really fantastic start, pretty dang good animation, and then garbage. That's a good example there, where that would technically be trending. It didn't end up, I don't think, at the time because it still wasn't that good. You could have a case like that where like the first 2 episodes are really good looking and everything like that, and it's working really well because they were like literally like based on a pilot or something like that. And then after that, the rest of the episodes look like butt, and everybody hated after that point. And that it could still end up that kind of twisting the system a little bit there, but it's still better. So they're basically getting the pulse of the industry as it plays along, or the fandom as it goes along. At the end of the year, everybody gets to choose. So I do find their system really good. If something like this could get popular and build up in popularity, and it gets to the point where, what was Crunchyroll at for like votes? I don't know how much their vote count was without doing multi-voting. But I mean, I'd assume probably getting upwards of the million, maybe possibly. If they can get something like anime trending to get up there and that amount of people actually voting for it, I could see Crunchyroll kind of going, yeah, probably over the corner, just like chewing down something like, how dare they take that from us? We were doing it first, or something like that. But I would love an idea of another group just taking over that, taking that attention, and then it just kills Crunchyroll. So I think it could turn possibly into a thing where it's not necessarily that Crunchyroll gives up on it, because to my point, that saturation point of marketing, and they're not getting enough back for it. Or it could possibly be a case where somebody else just does it better. Somebody else just does it way better. And now and then the opposite could happen, where you'll have Crunchyroll see something like this and go, let's do something like that. Let's do something like that where every single week we'll see which shows get the most views or the most likes on the episodes, and then we'll put that towards a tally that will make it nominated for later on. And you know what? I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against that over a judge system. Because again, right now, my biggest problem I have right now is a large portion of their judges not being equipped for it. But anyways, are you looking up the votes?
I was trying to see if I could find it. Yeah, I went to I found their thing. Of course, One Piece, Chainsaw, Suzume, Buddy Daddies, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen.
34 million acclaimed in 2024.
Kaisen. There's no way they got 34 million. Demon Slayer.
They could claim whatever they want, Chris. But again, I don't know if.
Oh, Spy Family.
Now, see, this is the 2024 Crunchyroll Anime Awards. So that would be 2023, which that would be I think that's the year they were doing the vote by tweets. So that makes perfect sense. That right there makes perfect sense. If they got 34 million and that was the year that they did the whole vote by tweeting, no doubt. Because again, that's what they were trying to do. They were going, okay, now it's time for this show. Retweet and hashtag vote for Spy Family, and that's multiple votes. You can keep voting. And they were just literally giving you different ways of basically marketing the Anime Awards to cast another vote. So I wouldn't doubt that. Because see, right there, it says their previous year was 18 million. So they almost doubled it. Had to been that year. I don't know. No, 2024 would have been the previous. I don't know. But yeah, if they can just get upwards about 1 million at Anime Trending or something like that, I would love to see that kind of shift. But that was the whole point, that why I made a video covering Anime Corner's Anime Awards. And I just made one today for Anime Trending. That was the thing that everybody kept yelling at me for. You keep every year covering the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Why don't you cover, Anime Corner? Why don't you cover Anime Trending? Why don't you cover r/anime or whatever? I mean, the easy answer was that nobody wants to watch a video about Anime Corner's awards. Nobody wants to watch a video about Anime Trending's awards. I did it this year because I want to. I think it is a good thing. I think people are right that it needs more attention. People need to get the word out there. People need to tell people, look at what they're doing here. If you don't like Crunchyroll, look at here. Yeah, we're still going to cover Crunchyroll Anime Awards. One, because people care about our opinion on it, and it's funny. I'm going to watch the live stream of that stupid thing again. I'm going to laugh at Translator Granny. Hopefully Granny Later's back. Granny Later wasn't there last year. Hopefully they bring Granny Later back. Or was that the Aniplex Fest? No, that was I think that was Aniplex Fest. Anyways. It's a trash fire, yes. As Chris says, it's a trash fire. We enjoy it. Anything else? Wow, we just had like a hour and a half rant fest. Anything else you want to talk about? It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Was there any other news that I had in that whole thing that you would care about? Oh, did you see that Amazon Prime's getting Gundam GQXU?
Oh, really?
I think that's their biggest pull yet. I mean, they did back when
it feels like
since
they're trying
Anime
to
Strike.
Get their toe back in.
Yeah, since Anime Strike. And not counting Evangelion 3.0.1.2 over 5 ZX. Besides that, this is easily for seasonal. This is easily the biggest, because I don't think there's any other show that Prime has had since like Recreators and Cabaneri that was big seasonal shows. Because they did Tombo. I mean, not much. So this is. I did it again. I keep like tapping this. You give me your fidgeties. You're giving your fidgeties. I tap the stupid lid and it turns on to drone mode. But no, that's huge. April 8th, I'm forced to get down. It drive me crazy. The drone mode. Laptops and their drone modes, dude. Anyways, April 8th, Gundam GQXU is going to be April 8th on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it'll be a cross thing, like maybe like Crunchyroll has it and they have it as well. I haven't seen anybody else say that they're going to be streaming it, so that's pretty big pickup by them. But my whole point there really is like, give us more. Like you this whole single show a season thing's not. I mean, I even struggle with telling people to go subscribe to High Dive because they have like 3 or 4 shows. It's so. I mean, the expectation here is that everybody has a Prime account. Everybody's got a Prime account, so everybody can stream it. But no, there's a lot of people that don't have Prime. I've given up on my Prime account. Like I don't use it as much as I used to. I finally got rid of my Prime account. So I don't see people like the regular person, a regular anime fan, just being able to boot up and have a Prime account. So I guess contact your family and friends and say, hey, do you guys even use Amazon Prime Video? Can I borrow your account just to stream? You just have to go to amazon.com/activate and just type my code for my Apple TV on there, and so I can use your streaming side of your account. I can see that. I'm excited for it though. Like, it's so funny how many people are like so turned off by how it looks, and I'm like, oh, you guys didn't watch Katana Gatari, did you? Like, I'm a massive fan of that artist, Take, whatever her name was. Man, I'm like,
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yeah, is that artist.
Wow.
So the characters look very much Katana Katari-esque. So I'm like, yes, give it to me. But I mean, yeah, Hideaki Anno is doing the writing on it, and you have mecha design by the person that did Evangelion. It's got like an all-star
This is
cast
gonna
behind
be
it.
absurd.
It looks Evangelion-esque. I don't know. I'm hearing mixed responses to the movie theatrical showing of it, but it's like one of those things where it's like I'm just gonna wait till it comes out and make my own decision. I always do that, but I have a feeling I could like it. The trailer I'm mixed on because like the music's great. Again, the style looks great. The directing looks great. The mecha, the Gundam moments, I'm like, like characters are. It's doing a lot of this whole thing where the characters are just kind of flipping around over and over again and stuff. It's like you're not impressing me with the mecha stuff, but everything else looks good. Everything else I'm good on. So
You said this is GPX?
GQXU.
GQX.
GQUUUUUUUUUX. And that's not a joke. And it's pronounced GQXU. Or Aksu. When they were doing their live stream, when they initially announced it, they said it is pronounced GQ Aksu. So come at me, bros. I'm waiting for people to get angry. You're not saying it right. Because I think I even see Anime News Network saying it's pronounced a weird way. I don't care. Oh, you'd like this, Chris. There's a new anime coming out, or an anime adaptation coming out for a show called Don't Touch Me.
That screams Evangelion.
They have a show coming out, anime adaptation for Don't Touch Me, Kotesashi. Can you guess what this show is going to be about? Don't Touch Me, Kotesashi.
Sexual harassment?
No. Technically, yes. The manga centers on a dude who aims to become a sports doctor. He becomes a massage specialist at a university high school, a school known for its powerhouse sports team. There, he provides massage services to unique athlete girls. And yes, it is an ecchi, so that's gonna be fun whenever that comes out. I that was one of those ones where like there's a lot of cases where like I do a muse video and I'll have like maybe like two subjects that I really badly want to talk about. Like for this particular one I have notes on here was for the Frieren one. And I'll kind of want to put some other stuff in there just to kind of feel out the entire video. So I don't have like two announcements and then, video stops. And I grabbed this one and I literally copied the synopsis and I didn't even read it beforehand. So I'm literally like first time recording talking about the show. And I'm like, oh gosh, that went in a direction I wasn't really expecting. But I should have expected it from the freaking title. What else? Oh, fourth season of Rise and Shield Heroes coming in summer, July. So
say that again.
Shield Heroes coming back in July.
Nice.
One Punch Man's coming in October. Grand Blue Dreaming. Did you ever watch that first season?
I didn't finish it. I got through a good chunk of it though.
Yeah, I dropped it. That's coming back in July. David Productions got a new original anime coming out called Onmyo Kaiten Reversu. It looks okay. Like it's got a David Production more retro style anime look to it, which I do like. But it kind of has some rough CGI, so I'm kind of mixed on how that one's going to turn out. What else? Hanan-san, we know about that. And Yandere Elf has been confirmed to be in 12-minute long episodes, so that's that too. But yeah,
we're gonna get a different type of shorts. Is that what we're gonna do?
Apparently, according to the Yandere Dark Elf, she wants them young boy shorts. No.
Go for it.
Oh, you watched that 100 Girlfriends? You see my video on it? They changed two things in the anime adaptation of that episode. One, in the manga, the announcer girl, she's in a helicopter when the hair starts spreading.
Yeah.
And she yells about how she hasn't gotten a chance to debut yet for her new single or something like that, or Idol. And then suddenly the things just come up and grab the helicopter and takes it down and explodes. That's her appearance in the manga. So we got like literally, yeah, a good little extra shot there for actually being attacked by the hair that wasn't in the manga. But they cut something, which you'll probably like this. They cut the gorilla lady. But it wasn't
Really?
attacking the gorilla lady. It was attacking the boy. It just has this one shot where the gorilla lady's trying to pull the boy, and the boy's being sucked into the hair because obviously Hahari would be going after the cute little boy.
Yeah.
That was such a good episode. Anyways, let's get some questions from our community. We're like nearly done. We're nearly getting to our usual record time, and we have not answered a single question. But this has been a good podcast. I've been having some fun talking. I have to turn off streamer mode because I don't see names. As per usual, again, we're at talkspirit.com. You can go there for links to our Discord, or in the description of this particular podcast, you can find our Discord link. Join the community there. Great people there. And then you can go to the submit questions channel where you can submit a question. Don't talk in there. Just submit your question and go away. The other channels are for talking. We literally have hundreds of channels. Go to one of them. Not the submit question to talk. Anyways, like Davlin says, what is the plot of the light novel you would want to write? It wouldn't be a damn kick from the hero party story. That's for damn sure.
Well, I don't even want to do a kick from the hero party story.
Well, I mean, there's the thing. It's like, what do you want to write, and would you write? There's obviously the what would you write. You're gonna go with trends. What do you want to write? I don't know. I do honestly. There's two things I can answer this with. One is I guess probably more interesting answer is the idea that I would like the idea of writing a. There's a term for it, isn't there? There's a term for like making a fantastical version of your life story, basically, where you take your life story, but you'd make it a lot more grandiose and more entertaining. So it's based on your life story. It's based on a story concept, but then you take it in a route that's more crazy. I'd like to do something like that. I think that would kind of be fascinating. The other more, I guess, less interesting is that I've talked about this before, is where I do, as a method that I taught myself, it's a method that I've found that works for me to get to sleep, is I create a story in my mind as I'm laying in bed, and I found that it helps me fall asleep. And it would be interesting to write out that story. I do kind of borrow a lot from other stuff that I watch just to make it simpler to tell that story, to make because the point when I'm laying there and I'm trying to get to sleep is not to make an epic tale. It is to literally just to play out a scenario and a story to get myself to go to sleep. So I will borrow a lot from known stories. And so there would be a lot that I would have to change with it just so it doesn't seem like a big copy. But again, like we said before, it doesn't stop anybody else from doing it. Like literally Spring, we have like 4 shows that look like they're copy paste from Mushoku Tensei. We have a show that's about Paul Greyrat, who is in another world with a Sylphie, a Nanahoshi, and an Edis. There's plenty of copying already. What's your idea of a light novel story?
Most of mine have already been done. Is slow life building something and saving cat girls and dog girls. So it's already been written. So I don't really have to do the writing. But I have written a book. I need to edit it and actually try to sell it. But yeah, I technically already have.
Yes, this is the point. This is the point which we do the epic reveal that the only reason that Chris continues to do the podcast with Andrew is that he can wait for the day he can finally advertise his book on the podcast.
Someday.
Then he disappears. He's like, I finally got my advertisement in there. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Well, there's a lot of people who are probably still on the forums or that are on the Discord that were on the forums at one point.
No, they're all dead.
They're all
dead. Anybody
I'm pretty sure Ira's in there.
Anybody that was around since you guys don't know, Ida is actually an AI as well.
Oh.
I threw a bunch of data at him and made an AI.
Just to let you know,
that's why it gets super saucy at times. Whenever Ida on the Discord gets really saucy, it's because I hit this one button that's like a turbo button for like the old PCs. You just hit that button every now and then, it gets really saucy.
I will let you know. I asked an official AI if Chris from Otaku Spirit was actually human.
Probably say yes. It didn't it?
No, actually, it said that no, Chris is human. There might be some kind of confusion, but then again, AI was actually having a hard time deciding whether or not we were brothers. So,
See, that's the one of those. Again, the idea of what the AI is answering with is it's answering with content it's picking up, and what is one of the most asked question is, are you two really related? Are you two related? Like, it was so funny how many times people were like, "Wait, you guys are actually brothers?"
no,
He's an AI.
The funny thing is,
I wrote him to be my
people
brother.
ask us if we were actually brothers, and yet at the same time, there's also other people who are saying that they can't tell the difference between our voices.
That's true. And this was a lot of people that were confused by it before we were doing video. And a lot of people didn't even know what you look like. They might have seen me. Well, I mean, for a long time. I mean, there was a point which the big face reveal was obviously was the Crunchyroll Awards, because I had to send my picture there. It was the first time really a lot of people see me. And then yes, it moved on to me doing YouTube full time, and then that's me being in front of the camera, and that's after that it's basically doing the podcast with both of us. But yeah, it's like for a long time there was just people that were just going by our voice. And so, yeah, I had that mixture of people that were like, I can't tell you apart, but at the same time, I can tell you apart. And are you actually brothers? And yada, yada, yada. It's just, so I can see the AI answering it that way. But there's like a side of me that was like, okay, that tells me that it's not, the AI doesn't have our recordings.
No.
Because if the AI it actually pulled our recordings and analyzed it, it would probably be confused. It would probably go, yes, at several times, Andrew has stated that he is, in fact, an AI. That would be actually interesting if it could actually... I think an AI could easily decipher who's talking when.
Yeah.
Because obviously every podcast opens up with me saying, my name's Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris, and then a noise happens. Hi, this is Andrew. Joined here with Chris. All right. AI is trying to decipher what he's saying right there. But it would easily be able to figure out the difference there. Again, vocals and stuff like that. So anyways, that's that. What were we talking about before then? You were doing a book. Yeah, the AI in the book. Okay, I get the joke now. Okay. I figured out how that conversation went there. There was another story that I was thinking about at some point too. It was an isekai. It was a play off of isekai that I thought of at some point that I thought was pretty genius. The idea was like, okay, isekai to another world, but then like it starts off with this concept. And it wasn't farming life. It was something else. It was a gimmick to it. It wasn't becoming a hero. It wasn't farm life, but it was some gimmick that I forgot. But I'll think about it when I'm recording or editing. So there you go. Third person Andrew editing this right now that's completely frustrated that you just thought of it. I'm laughing with you. Anyways. Yeah, I technically would like maybe I could finally do what I've been wanting, but I wish stories would do a long time, and do an isekai into another world, into the body of someone, and actually make out the story of the internal conflict. That's what I wanted from Spirit Chronicles. I kind of thought there could be possibly that happening with Weakest Tamer. Maybe I can do it. I mean, again, I'm sure somebody's done it, and maybe it's just not been adapted. But I would love to do an inner conflict isekai, where the idea that like, okay, I'm walking down the street, I get hit by a car, and then I awaken inside of this body, and I am trying to, get my bearings, and I'm, oh, wow, okay, I guess this this guy's
Tsumasho.
Sort of, yes, sort of. I'm talking a lot more dark here. Okay, there's my mom right there for this guy that I'm apparently in the body of, and then at some point, the day ends. He's trying to keep a low profile. He's kind of struggling with trying to answer any questions people have, not give tip off. He eventually goes to bed, and then suddenly right there, he's talking to the person that is the person in the body, and it can go two different routes. The idea of the person hating that the person's inside of them, seeing them as like a parasite. It can go into the concept of just the person doesn't want to be there anymore. So like whatever you take control, I don't even want to be here anymore, and it almost turns into an aspect of them shutting themselves up inside there, while the isekai has to take control, take the wheel. Turn into an idea of him eventually, like, as the isekai, essentially building up his life in this new world and struggling, but eventually getting to a comfortable position, and then suddenly the person wants their body back, and they kind of fight with each other. I think that can actually turn into something really interesting. And again, it's literally what I was kind of building in my mind when I watched stuff like Spirit Chronicles. Like, I thought he was literally going to fight with himself.
Didn't we kind of figure that they were probably going to do that with Ascendance of the Bookworm as well?
I don't know. I mean, it kind of implied the idea that she was dead. So no. It could, but they kind of... Maybe unless the novel series gets more detailed,
more along the lines of mine just having regret for the idea that maybe that might have happened.
Well, Mine's friend confronts her at some point, realizing that it's not mine anymore, and then she feels bad about it. Like, I'm more of an aspect. She's sorry that she deceived them, but she came to a conclusion at some point because of how dreadful that disease was. That the person, and again, my theory really heavily relying on that mine died that day when she took over the body. So it kind of alleviates that idea that she pushed somebody out. It's just that she died. Like the body had no soul in it when she came into it. But again, the novel could get more details of that, or they can touch back on it eventually, I guess. But yeah,
if they ever come back,
which studio is going to be animating? It's coming back.
Yay!
I don't think we had a date yet. Anyways, thanks, Dowdlin, for the question. Havoc says, what are your guys' New Year's resolutions? Resolutions. Did I set any resolutions? I don't think I set any this year.
I don't think I did either.
Which I don't typically do. Like, I haven't really done resolutions since like 10 years ago. I'm the type of person that, like, if I want to do something, I do it. I don't really necessarily go, because I think New Year's resolutions are good for some people. They're always bad for me because I find them to be like a thing where you get
Debbie
annoyed
with yourself real fast.
Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
You sort of say, I'll wait until next year, or you set a resolution, but then you lays it out until the time comes when the New Year's comes around, and then when it comes around, you go, maybe next year. It sort of gives you an excuse to put it off until the next New Year's resolution, and then when it comes around, it's easy to drop. But again, that's me. I've never been one for resolutions. But I don't know. I'm always setting resolutions for myself, trying to get better, doing content better, just changing how I act to certain people. There's a lot of personal stuff that I always kind of set for myself. So. Sorry, Havoc, for Debbie Downer response. We're just not fun. We're not fun. Adrian, or I'm sorry, Blank with a sipping cup face character, says, "Sup, resident Nier nerd here to ask, will you be playing Nier Automata now the anime is concluded? It's a great experience to go through, and I recommend it." God, has it been that recent that I played that? Because I did play Nier on live stream, and I was really enjoying it. But after that first stream, I got caught up with some other stuff, and I never got back to playing it again. I still have it in my queue on Steam. I will eventually get back to it. Being that the season's kicking up here in a second, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So maybe after this new season kicks up, I'll get back onto that. Sorry. I still gotta also play Final Fantasy VII too. Damn it. Orsa said, where do you guys buy manga online?
I have a subscription to Shonen Jump that I hardly ever use.
I want to use Barnes & Noble. I would love to use Barnes & Noble. Hey, Barnes & Noble, can you please have a sale? Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble, can I have a sale on manga?
Andy, you were getting a little too close to me.
You're over there. I guess technically on the camera, it looks like I'm right above you. But no, I'm legitimately like blown away that Barnes & Noble does not want to have a sale on manga or light novel. Ever since that horrible shipment of stuff from Crunchyroll store, I have been waiting to place that order on their platform, and they have yet to have a sale. I know they do them because I remember specifically at some point they had a sale on light novels, but nothing. Like I went through Black Friday, Christmas, there was no sales on novels, on light novels or manga.
I went over to
Who doesn't have sales on Black Friday?
I went into the Barnes and Noble over there. You know how we popped in there once or twice.
Yeah,
it's huge now. The entire manga section.
I think the first time I went there, it was like one aisle. Then the second time I went there, they literally had like 6 rows.
No,
of nothing.
You know that entire back area, that whole area now is now dedicated to it. It's because
they were clearing out the DVDs out of that area, if I remember correctly. I wouldn't doubt they put there. That's literally what they keep saying. The manga is outselling comics and books right now like crazy. Barnes and Noble, that's to my point. They acknowledge that it's making them a fortune, that they're building out they're getting rid of the stuff that doesn't sell anymore, and they're banking on manga and light novel. So where is your damn sales? Like, there's so many people that don't even know about Barnes and Noble selling manga and light novels because you don't do sales. You don't sell it. Do it, and give me a damn referral code already. But I do pre-order all my light novels and all my mangas from them because they do a lot of pre-order sales where you get like a pre-order code, and then it comes out to pretty much what you would pay at like Right Stuff or now Crunchyroll. So it like normal price, yes, you pay a lot more doing Barnes and Noble, but if you can at least get a pre-order sale or again a sale of any sort, you can get that price down there to about where they're at. So I've switched to them because, again, Crunchyroll has butchered Right Stuff, and it's the best way of getting a shipment. I know I've had a couple of times where, yes, I get the shipment in, and they do it in a padded envelope or something like that, which bugs the hell out of me. But for the most part, I've been having a lot of luck with them, so I've been mostly exclusively buying from them. If I have a weird itch, I might buy it from Amazon, but you are gambling bad there because most of the time they just chuck it inside of a box or a padded envelope, throw a little bit of maybe like one little, in most of the cases, not even putting anything in the box with it, and it's just fumbling around in there, and you're good luck getting it. It's a gamble with Amazon. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm getting all my manga. I know that some people were bringing up some other alternative sources from Amazon. I think with how long it's taken Barnes & Noble to get anything sales-wise, I might just go ahead and try out some other places and see how they work out. Like, I try to contact that company that popped up when Right Stuff got rid of the 18+ stuff. They just don't want to give me the time of day. Like, I've sent them a couple emails trying to contact them and try to get something going with them, try to, just establish a connection and communication. Let's establish a communication. A handshake, just a quick handshake. It doesn't have to be anything big, but just completely crickets. But I wanted to try them out, but there's a side of me that almost wonders if they are technically that building. I don't know. Anybody out there, if you have anybody out there that bought from that new store that opened up when Right Stuff got rid of the 18+, what's the name of it?
I don't remember.
It was anime. It was something. But anyways, if you bought from there, where'd it ship from? Did it ship from Grimes, Iowa? That's what I want to know. What's the actual address? Because, I mean, there could be 2 buildings in Grimes, Iowa. I mean, they just take the stuff from this warehouse, put it on a truck, and drive down the street and pop it in this warehouse. But is in Grimes, Iowa? I'd be very curious if it's actually the same building. They just have a different name, and it's just distributing out of there. That would be funny. I don't think that would be the case because, again, Sony bought them, and Sony literally took over the building. They wouldn't have some other company basically selling out the warehouse. Anyways, that's it. I think we're going to call it there. Wait, hold on a second. Let me see what the next one is. Yeah, Cosplay Joe says, did you know that the Tsumasho had a TV drama adaptation? And if so, have you seen any of it? No. I know it existed. No, I haven't watched it. I thought about watching it. I'm pretty Tsumasho'd out. I literally read the entire manga and watched the anime series in like a span of a few months. I'm pretty Tsumasho'd out. Maybe someday I'll check it out, but I'm pretty Tsumasho'd out. I'm good. I'm tapped.
It wouldn't surprise me at this point. There's a lot of shows that end up getting live actions.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of cross multimedia adaptations with live actions right now. So, anyways, that's it for this podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I mean, we were back and forth. I mean, we got Debbie Downer for a little bit there. Got pretty heated. Got angry. Got a lot out of the system. I think this is a good therapeutic. It's a therapeutic episode. We ranted about Crunchyroll Anime Awards. We ranted about leakers. We ranted about rage bait.
I'm sure I'm still boring though.
Did you talk in this podcast episode?
I'm pretty sure I talked in this this podcast episode, but I'm probably not enough for that one guy that says that I'm boring still.
Man, you gave Chris a bad complex. He's never gonna let that one go.
No, he did this last week or the week before.
Yeah, and he brought up last week, so it had to have been the week before.
Yeah, so it must have been the week before.
So you brought up twice in a row.
I'm still boring.
You brought it up twice in a row now. If that one guy, as we call him one guy.
That one guy.
If that one guy bugs you that much,
I'm still boring.
God hope that you're not. Be glad you're not doing what I'm doing right now.
Well, I'll forget about it. I mean, I got stuck on something a few weeks ago and I drug it out for a few weeks.
That's okay. I apparently say also a lot. Wait, how did they say that I say it?
No, you say it funny.
All soul. I think it was all soul. Yeah, apparently I say all soul a lot. So I'm gonna get stuck on that now. But see, the difference is like I literally just made fun of this person for saying that because they said you really do say "I'll soul" a lot. I'll soul a lot, and I said I also say the and but and many other words a lot too. Crazy stuff happens when you speak English a lot. See, that's my response to things like that. People are weird.
People are weird. Even I am weird. I'm
But
also
they
boring.
technically point out that yes, that was I totally forgot, but that was a comment that was made a long time ago that we read on the podcast where somebody's like, do you realize you say also a lot? People are weird. I mean, I acknowledge that I do that too, where I'm watching somebody or listening to somebody, watching a YouTuber or something like that, and I'm like, that's funny how he said that. But it's weird that you go on in the comments and you have to say something about it. Like, that's so weird. It's so weird. Like, every single one of my Mashuko Mondays. It hasn't been a while.
You have that one guy?
It hasn't been a while.
You have that one guy? What does that one guy say?
Pettigoose? Pettigoose? What is he saying? Pettigoose? I don't know. Go watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4. So episode 4 was when Armafi shows up for Pettigoose and confronts.
I just get stuck on the fact that they keep saying Pettigoose.
When the displacement incident was happening. When the displacement incident happening, Armafi pops up in front of them and literally says he was sent there by Pettigoose. It's how he says it, Pettigoosu.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about.
Oh, Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice.
No, did anybody get mad at you for saying Beetlejuice? I did.
Fixed it. You poked at me.
No, I fixed it. That was. You thought that I was making fun of you. That's a shield, Chris. The way that I stepped in there and said, "Oh, Pedal Goose," that was a. They're gonna get mad, Chris. Let me fix this real quick. That was a shield.
I really don't care. I want to call him Beetlejuice, so
just call him Gyusu. Just be Amelia and say it cute like her and say Gyusu. Gyusu.
No, I'm not gonna be cute. I'm not cute.
Gyusu. You're not cute.
No, I was only made into a lolly in one of somebody's weird random. Side story things.
I technically do have the technology that I can superimpose 2 little blush marks on your cheek for the entire podcast episode. And just be like little cheeks. You're moving around, there'll be little cheeky, blushy. And I'll put big googly anime eyes on. Anyways, what were we talking about? We're closing the podcast.
I have no clue.
How do we get here from closing the podcast?
because I was complaining about somebody saying I'm boring.
Oh, yeah. Hate posts.
Now, see, I got 4 people that are going to tell me that I'm boring today.
Oh, the comments are going to be full of it.
Actually.
The comments are going to be full of it. Man, gosh, she's yelling out that ReZero leaker again. Somebody tell the ReZero leaker he's talking about you again. The dude's actually really cool, by the way. The guy that I'm talking about, he's actually his response was really cool. Seems like a cool dude. Doesn't change the fact that the leaks bug me. But again, enjoy your leaks. But we're stopping. We're done. We hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. Until next week, we will do our, again, hopefully if we can actually get concrete information about all the shows coming up, and literally less than a month, we'll do a spring preview. Again, like I will do my my top 10 most anticipated video this week as well. So hopefully I can get that done. So look forward to that. But until the next, I almost said Michiko Monday, which will be Monday because it's Monday.
It'll be tomorrow,
which will be yesterday as the posting of this, which is tomorrow as a recording.
Are you in a weird time warp?
It's tomorrow. we had daylight savings. That's messing me up already. Can we get rid of daylight savings? Yeah.
They're talking about it. They were planning on it.
Until the next episode, y'all take care.
Us.
I'm just gonna end it.